What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bold. I'm Philip Michael. Now, stand-up comedy was one of the hardest hit industries in the last year. Joining me to talk about that and how she's been coping and her hopes for the scene in 2021 is a friend of Bold and a comedian, Felicia Madison.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Felicia. Now, so what was it like for you to be unable to tour or host shows or perform like normal in 2020?
Well, 2020 was a tough year for everyone, comedians and all industries. But we were pretty resilient as a group of creative people. We all sort of pivoted a little bit. People did a lot of social media. I opened F Comedy Club Online, which was an online Zoom-based comedy show. And it was challenging at first, but we all sort of got used to it and started enjoying it. And will say I am super excited, though, to get back on stage.
There's nothing quite like the stage. In the interim, were you able to do Zoom or maybe outdoor stuff? Reason I ask, I was riding through the Lower East Side, and I saw that there was, these things that you sit in on the outside for dining. They had created this little tent type of thing where there was a mini stage where it was a creative setup for someone to perform within the confines of social distancing and whatnot. Have you been able to do something, Zoom perhaps, or something else?
I did tons of Zoom. I did some outdoor. And I actually was just down in Miami and performed for the first time live outdoor. I only did a few outdoor in the city. And it was pretty incredible. It was a little nerve-wracking. It is kind of like getting on a bike. You get on there and just like when you do anything the first time, it's super exciting. You have a whole new different level of energy. So that was a lot of fun. But I did tons of Zoom shows, and I did not do a lot of outdoor shows. Actually, technically, outdoor shows were illegal until now. So being that I was part of West Side Comedy Club, we didn't do outdoor shows because we didn't want to lose our liquor license.
Right.
So we are doing, we're starting some outdoor shows starting April 21st. We're doing a week of events. We are not opening indoors yet because 33% is just not viable for us economically to open up.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to try to do some shows. We're still trying to figure it out. But we're super excited. All the clubs, or a lot of the clubs, the ones that actually survived, we did lose a few of them, are opening tonight with limited audience.
Tonight.
Tonight's the first
2nd.
night.
There's the first
April
night.
2nd.
So I can go to a comedy club. Now, this is so great because I love comedy. One of the things though I wanted to ask you, so of course when you're on stage and you feed off, I assume, off the crowd, their energy and how you deliver your jokes and whatnot. Were you able to at least somewhat recreate that energy on Zoom, or was it just impossible? Did it fall flat?
No, it totally was possible.
Really?
It was, it's interesting. In a lot of ways, it was better because you could actually, look how I could see you up close and I could see you. And when you're on Zoom, you could get up to 20 people looking at them close. When you're on stage, you really only see the front row, maybe a little bit, you could see a little bit back, but they felt closer to us and we felt closer to them. So there was actually you never have conversations with someone in the audience when you're on stage, unless it's more of like a one-liner heckler. So you definitely were able to interact, and you got to know a lot of the people. A lot of people came back on a regular basis. One of my shows, Prime Time, which is on Monday night, Brett Singer does. He has people that come back every week, so you get to know them and you talk to them and you know what they do. So it was definitely interesting, and it's definitely going to stay. I don't think it's going away now that live TV, live comedy is back, live TV. But we also did open mics, and I do my feedback open mics, which were amazing online, and I think I'm going to continue a lot of them online.
Amazing. Now, obviously, over the past 12 months, it's been tough. It's been brutal for a lot of people. You mentioned that by out of necessity, you do Zooms, and it's created a new dynamic that may not even go away. It will add to the comedic content delivery system in a sense. But overall, how do you think it'll affect the industry with comedy clubs shutting down? And will it come back? Are we going to have the same type of stand-up comedy scene that we had before? Is it going to change? Is it going to be different? What do you see?
I think it's definitely going to come back, especially because we're a very resilient group. Christian Finnegan, who's a very good comedian, said we are like the cockroaches of the entertainment industry, which is bad, but it's also really hard to kill a cockroach.
Right.
So we're going to survive. We're going to come back. I think there were a lot of good things that came out of it. I think, look, there have been a lot of TikTok sensations, social media. People have been going on social media and creating. I created a show called Broadish, which is a daytime talk show. So I think a lot of really creative things came out of it. I think the person that's going to be hardest hit are going to be the people that are reading scripts, because I think a lot of people were sitting home writing scripts. So there's probably going to be like a lot of mail sent to all these agents and managers and studios with, I have a great script. I wrote it during quarantine. But it's going to come back. We did lose a few. I think it might be harder for the mid-level, lower-level comedians at first, because until the big venues are open, the more established comedians might be taking their spots.
Right. Just simply the nature of it. That said,
right.
Just like air and shelter, one thing that will never go out of style is the need to laugh. So at some point, these things will return. But that's awesome to hear. What's next for you? Anything on the horizon? Anything you want to share with us?
Well, we are doing our outdoor week of shows, so I'm super excited. The first one is April 21st, right outside the doors of West Side Comedy Club. So we're actually bringing the club, which you can see in the background. It's a virtual, but we're going to bring the chairs up. People are going to sit right outside. We're going to have 4 days of shows. We're going to have F Comedy Club first, which is my new talent program, and then we're going to have 2 produced shows. There you go. The gang is back in town, and I made that flyer, and these are all really great comics, and we're a family of comedians that have worked together for years, and it's just I got chills just making the flyer. It just felt so good. That's the one thing that comedians lost, was that sense of camaraderie and hanging with other comedians. It's a very lonely, because we're on stage alone, we sort of work alone, and the only social interaction we get is when we do the hang at the club, and that's what we all lost and missed. And so I'm super excited just to be back with my comedy friends and hang with them.
I can't wait to be there. Before we go, pound for pound, who's the best comedian right now?
Oh my God, that's terrible. You can't ask me that question.
Top 3 then. Can you give me 3?
Oh, there's so many different levels of comedians.
Stand up.
For instance, in my F comedy, I have Jay Jordan, Olga Namer, Pete Stegemeyer, and Kate Sisk are my 4 F comedy best ofs that I think are comedians on the rise. My favorite comedians, I love Jessica Kirsten. I worked with her a lot, and Rachel Feinstein. They've been doing some really great things. I love Eagle Witt. I like Brian Scott McFadden. I'm trying to think. Oh, Bonnie McFarlane and Erin Jackson are going to be on our Saturday show, which is amazing. They're just, there are so many amazing comedians out there. It's just hard to pick 1 or 2.
Right.
That's like picking your favorite child. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, actually, outside of West Side Comedy Club that are on Netflix right now, who do you think? Just
I
curious.
love Taylor Tomlinson.
Mm-hmm.
If I had one comedian that I'd like to get on my stage, it would be her.
It would be her.
I think she's hysterical, young and rising.
Yes.
She's my bucket list of who I want on my stage.
Well, if she's
and
out
she was
there...
supposed to come on my stage before quarantine, and it was really upsetting. And Sarah Silverman was also supposed to. The day we shut down was the day she was headlining at our club.
All right. Well, let's make sure they see this so they come back and get on that stage, and I'll make sure to be there and watch. Thank you so much for joining us, Felicia.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for watching. Make sure you follow Bold TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Have a great day, and I'm out of here.